All right, guys. Our next video is actually going to be a OpenWrt video because we've been doing these last couple of videos specifically for our Unraid build. But I've been wanting to get Grafana up and running on my OpenWrt router for a while now, and it's actually incredibly easy. Right, this right here is already like 90-ish% of everything you're going to need. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do is you're just going to install these packages on your OpenWrt router, right? In my video description I will have like the code for convenience, and then what you're going to do is you need to edit the config file, right, which is located here. As you can see, I have it included in here. That's what these double ands are for. Make it easy. Update, the list of packages, install all that you need for the Grafana stuff to get its data from Prometheus, and then you have the config that you need to edit. Okay, so one really important thing I need to talk to you guys about first before we even get into that is this is assuming, didn't mean to have that there. Come on, there you go. Right, this is assuming you already have Prometheus running and you have a way to get that data. This right here, this is the pdc-agent. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and hit enter. All right, it's gonna update the list of packages first. It's gonna attempt to install them. I already have them installed, that's why it just blew right through it. And then it's gonna V right into that config file. This is the important part you need to change here. This open listen interface, you need to change it to land. Okay, it should say loopback in it, I believe is what the default is. You need to change it to land, and what this will do is this will open up the metrics access to all of the devices on your network, which is what you need if you're going to use Prometheus, right? If you use Prometheus to come scrape it. So in this instance, right, I have Prometheus on my Unraid server, and these are all Docker containers, right? So like you can easily, I just made a video on getting this up and running. You can easily just follow that video, and then instead of just, Unraid, you just run Docker on Windows. You just have to translate the configurations for the hard drive stuff, right? Wherever you're keeping the config file at is what you're just going to need to just adjust for. But I have it running already, right? And I already have my thing that's connecting to the cloud. Like I said, you're going to need to look at that other video if you want to figure that part out. It's actually really easy as far as the Docker containers are concerned. What I'll do is I'll throw the documentation in the video description, the link. It's super easy as far as like the actual Docker Hub image, because they have a decent enough explanation for you where they tell you that these are the flags you need to use, and then you literally just put it in there and then it'll work, no issue. So all right, so we already edited this, so this is all done. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just for those of you that might not know, right, in V is the application that we use to edit it, right? After you edit it, you want to do colon. So you press the colon button. You see there on the bottom left, it's like that. And then you would do WS, or WQ, I think is what it is. WQ, which is write, and then quit. And then boom, right, it'd be done. And yeah, see, as you can see, the package is already installed. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. But all right, so once that is done, the very last thing you just need to do, and you're up and running, mostly, is then you just need to restart the Lua script since you just edited it. So you'll just copy and then paste it in there. Now, because I already had it configured that way, there's no need for me to restart it, but that's what you would do. After that, you're 90% done. Now let's talk about Prometheus, right? So if you're going to use you're going to be using Prometheus in order to export this data. So what you need to do is you're going to have to, and I'm over here opening it up now so you guys can see. All right, you need to open up the Prometheus YAML config file that you have for it, and you need to make sure you point it to that router. So in this case here, you see I have under static configs targets, I have here the V, that's the host name for my router. Most people like to do IP addresses, and I always say in all my videos that host names go a long way and make your life tremendously easier. Okay, but you're just going to add your router, the port number that is open at, which is the 9100, right? And then the comment, you could put a comment if you want. But once you do that, then you need to go ahead and you need to get it in there. added the Prometheus, which remember I said about that etc where the config file is. So for me, right, I'm gonna just go here. I'm gonna go to in my Prometheus folder, right? It's etc, and then boom, it's right there. And all I would simply do is I would delete this, check it, delete it, and then upload that YAML file, right? And then once it'll upload right in there, quick and easy. And then I just sit here, I restart Prometheus, right? And then that's it. It's done. Now here's the key part here, right? Like I said, this is the PDC agent from Grafana that I'm using in order to upload the data to it. So as you can see, this is actually it right here. What we're going to need to do, because I'm going to need to actually show you, right, what I'm sitting here talking about. So when I go to data sources and I say add a new data source and I say Prometheus, okay, right, again, right, if this was Grafana locally, you would do the same thing, and then all you would just have to do is you just give it literally the host name and port number to whatever device you're using to run Prometheus. That's it. That's all you would put right here to create the instance. What I'm using is the private data sources, right? Which if you go click on there, they give you a token and like a key, right? So they already prepackaged most of the code for you that you literally just run in the command prompt with the Docker image. Like I said, I set it up specifically for Unraid and how Unraid has it set up. You would just need to translate it if you're going to do it on like Windows or your own Linux thing. But so definitely take a look at that video if you need to. But once you have the data source in there, okay, all we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and hit dashboards. And then we're going to actually import a dashboard that we know they have already set up for Grafana, for OpenWrt. And if my mouse will stop fighting with me, okay, and then it's going to be 11147. We'll load that up. And then boom, right? Then, give it a name, give it, then make sure you select that data source, right? That data source that you're going to have, right? And then you would import it. And then once you import it, like literally, that's it. You're done. Now you are actually 100%. See, quick and easy. And this is assuming, like I said, you already have Prometheus and you already have a means of setting the data up to the cloud if you're using the cloud. Otherwise, you could just use the local Grafana instance. But yeah, and then you get all of the data you could possibly like, which is awesome. With that being said, I'm gonna have to fix it later. With that being said, that's it. You're done. See, I get all of my all the cool data points. For the super advanced people, this is the time now where you'll be able to you can change this up to make it look however you want if you know how to edit Grafana panels and create your own dashboards and whatnot, right? The key thing, the most important thing is just getting the data up here to begin with, right? Making the connections, right? And everything's working perfectly, which as you can see, it all is. So with that being said, I thank everybody for all that they have done up to this point for me and like giving me the tips and stuff in order to like get this working. We are done, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.